You know what, it was in the pilot already, and I read it, and you know, when they developed the script, I wasn't, you know, attached to it at the time. And when I took it on, I said, I hope you keep this in there. I know not a lot of African Americans play hockey, but there are some, I think, which is a surprise to people who don't follow hockey. And I asked that they keep it in. Now, I don't ice skate, that's a problem. So when we were shooting the pilot in New York, I started practicing so I could, because there were flashbacks actually where you saw Ironside playing hockey and coaching. And as it turned out, we didn't have time to shoot the ones where I was playing, which is probably for the best. So I don't know, as we continue on, as the series goes on, we'll see him more, maybe coaching in other sports, as he's a sports fan. But it's funny, I was talking to the showrunner, Ken Sanzel, about that yesterday, and he will remain a huge fan of hockey, whether he's coaching or not. I don't know if you'll see me on the ice, but he'll remain a fan. No, well, you're right, it was a very curious idea. I was a little taken aback, and I thought, I love the idea that they were doing Ironside again. And the idea of me doing Ironside, that's how it was presented. I said, well, you know, because we all have that point of reference, those of us who remember Ironside. I'm old enough to remember it somewhat. But then I read the script, and I saw how they wanted to reimagine it, and re-envision it, and reboot the series, not trying to remake it in any way. You know, it was such a popular series on NBC. It was 8 years, from 1967 to 75. Really, the only elements we're taking are his name, Robert T. Ironside, the fact that he is a detective, and the fact that he of course, is in a wheelchair. But that's really it. I mean, all the characters are new and different. It takes place in New York as opposed to the original in San Francisco. Obviously, I'm very different than Raymond Burr. And also, in the construct of our show, there are a great deal of flashbacks, because where he is shot and injured, that's a case he was tracking that was never resolved. So that's an ongoing journey that we see them on. So, and he's 2 years into his accident. So he's very much trying to reconcile and come to grips with this new version of himself in this as a disabled man. Yeah, you know, listen, I was 12 in 75, so I don't remember seeing a lot of it, so I went back to watch. Even though ours is so very different, I wanted to see what people remembered and what they were responding to. Because what's interesting, sometimes people remember, you know, have nostalgia for certain shows in the past. This one I find, people mention Ironside, they'll say, not only do I remember, I love Ironside. So, and part of it is Raymond Burr was so charismatic, and he's just a fantastic actor. So I did want to go back to what people were referring to. You know, every character you play as an actor has its own different unique challenges and aspects. Of course, the fact that he is part of who he is the fact that he's become disabled, and there's the emotional and psychological aspect of that. The physicality of it is something that, you know, my mother happens to be in a wheelchair, so I you know, spent a lot of time with her talking about her experiences. And there's a gentleman by the name of David Bryant, who I work very closely with, who is, and I will always say he's an engineer first. He's an athlete, and he's a paraplegic. He was paralyzed at age 19. He's been paralyzed for 34 years. He's competed in more than 40 marathons. And a lot of what I took from what I put into this Ironside came from him. One of the first things I noticed with him was there was no handle on the back of his wheelchair. And I said, why is that? And he said, because I don't want anybody to help me. Why would I want somebody to push me or help me if I can do it for myself? And that's very much who this guy is, who Ironside is. So he's been fantastic in a lot of them. Spent many hours together, a lot of time. He came over to my house a couple of days ago to see the final product, because I want to know. It's very important to me that we as a production entity, I'm a producer on this as well, me as an actor, are very respectful and authentic as we can be to this disability that this man has. It's unique, as I said, part of the construct of this show is unlike the original. There are flashbacks, so we see him prior to the accident and afterwards, so it makes for a different way of telling the story.